Hello and welcome back to another episode of Movie Bollocks. It's been a while. It takes a while to get enough new movies and TV series to review to make these worthwhile, obviously. And there's no room for any messing about. Should we just get straight into it? Yeah, why the hell not? Let's just get straight into it. After all, I've only got 17 movies to review. I mean, I say that, I make it sound like I've been forced to watch movies and review them. Not at all. I am just foisting my unwanted, uncalled for opinions all over you. Hey, it's what I do. As well, if you're listening to this on this feed. So let's get straight in. Movie number 1 is Hypnotic. Or Hypnotic, if you want to say it incorrectly. Directed by Robert Rodriguez, who I do like. Written by Robert Rodriguez, written by him and co-written by Max Bornstein. Stars Ben Affleck and Alice Braga. And I'm going to give you the IMDb line on all of these. A detective investigates a mystery involving his missing daughter and a secret government program. I mean, if you've seen the Christopher Nolan film Inception and you thought it was a bit complex and you just couldn't follow it and it was a bit ludicrous, yeah? Well, this is like a shit version of that. If you thought the Nolan version was too complex, this version is basically too stupid. It's all right. It passed the time. I mean, you don't want that on the poster, do you? It gets 5.5 on IMDb. I'm going to avoid actually saying what they get on IMDb because I always think it colours, your opinion. Look, as always, I'll tell you what I thought. I'm not going to say you should watch this, unless I'm really excited about it. It was all right. It was okay. It's fairly... I mean, I haven't really told you what it's about. Basically, Ben Affleck... Well, I have if you've seen Inception. Ben Affleck plays a guy who is searching for his daughter. Or is he? Does his daughter even exist? It's the strange world of Hypnotic. So, yeah, it's called an action mystery thriller. I would say action, yes. Mystery thriller, I don't know. If you've got half a cinematic brain, you'll figure out what's going on pretty much straight away. Anywho, it's pretty dumb fun. Pretty dumb fun. I kind of like that. Next up, right. Guy Ritchie's new movie. Now, if you are aware of Movie Bollocks and you've been listening and I've mentioned Guy Ritchie before, he directed one of, if not my most hated movie that I've ever seen, Revolver. Don't check it out, whatever you fucking do. And I don't really like Guy Ritchie movies. Never seen Snatch, no intention of seeing Snatch. You know why? I thought Lock, Stock was bloody rubbish. So, not really interested. And also, he's just a bit of a, fake Cockney geezer, isn't he? Here's all my Cockney movies when he went to private school in Hertfordshire. Guess what? His new movie, The Covenant, is fucking awesome. I absolutely loved every single minute of it. I honestly... It really did just take me by surprise. I saw it was out, I knew it was coming out, and I saw it was out on Amazon Prime, and I was like, oh, cool, yeah, watch this. Oh, man. During the war in Afghanistan, a local interpreter risks his own life to carry an injured sergeant across miles of grueling terrain. For a start, not the kind of film Guy Ritchie usually makes. However, he is one of the co-writers. It is a true story. Stars Jake Gyllenhaal and Dar Salim in it. And they are incredible. This movie, maybe it's because I wasn't expecting it. It absolutely blew me away, as I'm sure you can tell. There's one particular scene in it which I absolutely love, because it's one of those scenes where somebody is being called in to be given a bit of a telling off. And they're like, oh, really? Oh, right. You think that's why I'm here? Yeah, that's not why I'm here. This is why I'm here, and proceeds to just completely... And it's just a brilliant example of how to change the power in a situation, in a conversation, with just the right amount of words. Economy of language is what I love, because that's what makes comedy work. The economy of language. And just that line, oh, you thought I was here for that? Oh, no. I'll tell you why I'm here. Straight away has gone from being person carpeted to owning the room. And it's just fucking all. The whole film, everything that happens in it, the acting. I have only watched it once. I am going to be watching it again without doubt, because myself and Mr. Paul Waller of A Year in Horror podcast, you've got to check that shit out if you haven't already. We do A Year in Bollocks on Patreon. And basically we review a couple of movies, the two of us. He suggests one, I suggest one. We watch them and then we come back and we talk about them. We do that every month. It's great fun. You should have a listen, honestly. You really should. Anywho, yeah, The Covenant. Absolutely just loved it. Absolutely loved it. So next up, another movie I really enjoyed, 3,000 Years of Longing. I hadn't really wanted to watch this due to, I don't know, some stuff I heard. How fucking stupid was that? Directed by Mad Max director George Miller, starring Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba. And basically, yeah, it just stars them. They own this movie. It is fucking awesome. A lonely scholar on a trip to Istanbul discovers a djinn who offers her 3 wishes in exchange for his freedom. And it is absolutely superb, brilliantly acted. It's kind of strange because quite quickly you forget that Idris Elba is essentially a genie in it. And again, following on the heels of me not really being a fan of Guy Ritchie, I'm not much of a fan of Idris Elba either. But you know what? In this, I really, really enjoyed his performance. Sorry, just had to pause there and tell the parakeets on my balcony to fuck off, the squawking bastards. Because they're doing my absolute brain in, and I haven't listened back yet, but if they are in the background there, yeah, my apologies, they're gone. They'll be back. Anywho, yeah, 3,000 Years of Longing, really funny, touching, moving. I think I might have even teared up at some point. 1 hour and 48 minutes long, and it just skips along really beautifully. Tilda Swinton is, as always, brilliant. She's completely convincing as a kind of lonely scholar who she comes across as a kind of woman who knows a lot. She knows a lot about everything, but the value of nothing. She's ended up with a life that she's not really, not necessarily happy in or enjoying. It's just kind of doing what she thought she should always do, and it's not all that. But I guess, you know, we've all been through that at some point, or if we haven't, you're on your way to. And yeah, you know, she's in love with a genie, and well, what happens? The story of the movie is like I said, I found it captivating, really enjoyable, funny, completely original. I mean, yeah, George Miller, man, great piece of work. Now, following on from that is the Netflix movie Black Crab with Naomi Rapace. That did sound like Netflix when I said that, didn't it? It is a Netflix movie. Directed by Adam Berg, written by Adam Berg and some people whose names I can't pronounce. Starring Naomi Rapace in a post-apocalyptic world. Now, normally, right there, I'd be out. I'm absolutely sick In a dystopian world. Yeah, I'm gone. 100 people returned to the town that they've been missing from for 20 years. Yeah, I'm out. In a world, I'm out. Just, So anyway, in a post-apocalyptic world, 6 soldiers on a covert mission must transport a mysterious package across a frozen archipelago. Numi Rapace stars. That is an incredibly accurate depiction of what happens in the film. It's bleak, it's harsh, pretty cool action in it, and there's some of the cinematography in it. It just looks fucking amazing. Basically, it's a suicide mission that they're being sent on, but the fate of the world is in their hands, and they have to ice skate across like huge frozen rivers. It's just sort of classic, and I apologise if it's not Norwegian, I think it is, but it's just that classic kind of Norwegian, Scandi, dark, fucked up idea. And it just kind of works. It was all right. I enjoyed it. Doubt I'll watch it again. There you go. Not a ringing endorsement. So, next up we have Reality. Well, it's a true story. A former American intelligence specialist was given the longest sentence for the unauthorised release of government information to the media about Russian interference in the 2016 United States election via an email operation. Okay? A former American intelligence specialist. It becomes pretty clear why she did it. And you will either completely agree or disagree with why she did it. But without doubt, what she did has had an impact that will last for, well, basically, the debate in the States at the time was, of course, there was no Russian interference in the 2016 election, and there's absolutely no evidence of it. She's working in a government office where she knows that is absolute fucking bollocks. So, but the movie is really well done. It's very short, and it's almost like a play. It's virtually a three-hander. It's it's an hour and 23 minutes long. And it starts with her turning up at home and 2 guys from the FBI going, "Hi, could we maybe just have a look around your house?" And she's like, okay. And the whole thing is revealed very, very slowly. And it's all, you kind of feel like you're her. And it kind of feels like your space is being invaded whilst you're watching it. I enjoyed it. Again, I probably wouldn't watch it again. It's 1 hour and 23 minutes. It was interesting. There's some, the girl who plays Reality, which is Sydney Sweeney, does an absolutely great job, as does Josh Hamilton as one of the FBI operatives who basically comes to a house. Yeah. If you're in the right mood, you probably enjoy it more than I did. But I enjoyed it. It's okay, but not necessarily a film you, inverted commas, enjoy. But hey, it's kind of like, it's sort of like it's not made like a documentary, but it does feel like a documentary at times because information is fed to you that is factual during it. If all of that sounds like a hodgepodge of something that you would like, go for it. Yeah. I watched it and I thought it was all right. Next up, couldn't have something more different. From the reality of reality to the absolute non-reality of Creed 3. Yep, it's kind of rocky, isn't it? Adonis has been thriving in both his career and family life, but when a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy resurfaces, the face-off is more than just a fight. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, Jonathan Majors, everyone's back. And look, it absolutely, if you've seen, put it this way, I know that nobody who hasn't seen Creed 1 or Creed 2 is going to see Creed 3, okay? So I'm now speaking to people who've seen either Creed 1 or Creed 2 or both. Creed 3 is like those. So, Next up, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Next up, well, it's two movies back to back, and because they are connected, because one is called Becky and one is called The Wrath of Becky. Well, I found Becky on Netflix and thought, oh, this looks quite good. I think it was Netflix, sorry if it isn't. A teenager's weekend at a lake house with her father takes a turn for the worse when a group of convicts wreaks havoc on their lives. Now, she's a young girl. She's out she's not in the house. The family get the family get, is it abducted? No, not really, but it's a home invasion. One of whom is Kevin James. That's right, the comedian who's incredibly good in this as a hateful twat. Basically, they've arrived to threaten the family, to get information, to get to something they need to get to. And Becky is a girl who's not particularly enjoying the weekend anyway. She's got her issues with, her parts of her family, of which they are new, and she's not keen on that. This ends up being like, she's out there, they're in the house. Oh, is it going to be a bit Home Alone? Only in the aspect that it's a young girl. I mean, it's nothing like Home Alone. This is not a comedy. This is very much, it's pretty violent. Basically, it's an 18. It's 1 hour and 33 minutes. And you know me, you're pushing against an open door with a 1 hour 33 minute runtime, unless of course the movie is shit. But this is far from it. Really enjoyed it. Great performances. And what's important about movies like this is that it doesn't hold back. If it had held back, if it had been a 15, for instance, it would just be a rubbish film. If they'd have had to chop all the bits that make it the film it is, which I thought was really enjoyable. So much so, the following night, I watched The Wrath of Becky. 2 years after escaping a violent attack, a teenage girl must defend herself against a terrorist cell. Yeah, I know it sounds absolutely mad, but it's just really well done. Again, Becky is just, I really enjoyed it. It stars Lulu Wilson again as Becky. Sean William Scott is in this one, and she's fantastic. And again, it just ticks all the boxes of the first movie. Hateful twats, Becky getting needlessly picked on, and then, let's just make a bloody violent film with a few laughs in it from there on. But it's, again, really enjoyed it. And what I loved about the second film is, it didn't fuck with the formula of the first one. This time we're talking a 1 hour, 24 minute run time. It's just knowing what you are and delivering that. And really enjoyed it. Becky and The Wrath of Becky, really enjoyed them both. Next up, Extraction 2. Again, on Netflix. Have you seen Extraction? No? Then go and see Extraction before you see Extraction 2. Although, to be honest, you could watch 2 then 1, you could watch 1 then 2. Although 2 starts at the end of 1, it kind of doesn't. And I've got to say, personally, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one. Maybe that's just because the first one absolutely blew my fucking mind, because the action is some of the best action you will see anywhere. It's directed by Sam Hargrave, who is a former stuntman. And there you go. I mean, hello, 1 and 1. These films are action-packed, and the action at times really does make you go, fucking hell, what is going? My disappointment with Extraction 2, not the action. It does what it says on the tin. Well, not on the tin, on the poster. It's, it's fucking violent. The action is fucking amazing. It's just, I swear, in Extraction 2, just, I don't know, whoever was in charge of the script, they had a lot of time off and decided not to bother actually doing their job at all. Some of the dialogue I just found, it kind of feels picky. It's an action thriller. It is all about the action, and it does feel kind of churlish to be picking on the dialogue. But you can't have action in every scene, and when you haven't, and it's dialogue, and including it during the action scenes, dialogue is important. For fuck's sake, I can't believe I'm having this discussion with myself. Yeah, dialogue's important. No shit, Howard. So anyway, Extraction 2, not as good as Extraction 1, but it's still fucking extremely good. Now, here's a documentary that I hadn't planned on watching, and I'm glad I did. It's called Big George Foreman, and it's the life story of George Foreman. Chris Davies is absolutely fucking brilliant in this movie. It's a documentary on George Foreman, okay? Well, sorry, it's not a documentary. It's a a dramatization of his life, but it's pretty damn accurate. The Foreman estate were overseeing what was being put out, and I really enjoyed this. Now, I'm a big boxing fan, okay? So, again, knocking on an open door. 2 hours, 9 minutes long. I'm surprised they managed to cram what happened in this man's life into such a short movie. It really was just great. It's just, do you know what a really good combination of movies would be? Creed 3 and Big George Foreman. After you've watched Creed 3, then Big George Foreman, or the other way round. Either way, let's face it, if you enjoy true stories and people's life stories and people who've had a big impact, then this is worth a shout. And also Forrest Whitaker, as the man who helps George actually do something with his life, is fucking brilliant in it as well. He plays his trainer, and I honestly really enjoyed it. You don't have to be a boxing fan. Helps if you are, but you don't have to be. You really don't. And that's the sign of a good film, I think. When you're talking about a film that's about a boxer's life, if you can appeal to people who don't like boxing, then fair enough. Right. Next up, what have we got? Collide. 1 hour, 39 minutes from 2016. Think it's on Netflix or one of them. Directed by Erin Creevy, stars Nicholas Hoult, Felicity Jones, Anthony Hopkins. I mean, you'd think, oh wow, what a cast. That must no. And Ben Kingsley is in it as well. It's very 2016. It's one, and it's very Nicholas Hoult. From that, he was just finding his feet cinematically back then, and this is the kind of film that you would go, yeah, all right. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers could have could have easily played the lead role in this. It is a Jonathan Rhys-Meyers type film, okay? And by that, I'm thinking the Travolta movie he made, about going to Paris. Fucking hell, I wish I could remember the title. I've got the Blu-ray over there, but I can't fucking see from here. Anyway, it's a trashy action film. There's lots of action. It was okay. Just nothing to write home about, really. It was all right. Next up, this got a brief review from myself and Mr. Waller on our year in Bollocks on Patreon. It is the latest Sarah Snook vehicle, Run Rabbit Run. Sarah Snook from Succession. It's 1 hour, 40 minutes. It's a 15 certificate. And it is... I just found it right. Sarah Snook plays a fertility doctor who believes firmly in life and death, but after noticing the strange behaviour of her young daughter, she must challenge her own values and confront a ghost from her past. Alternatively, she can just get on your fucking nerves, and yet again, an Australian movie has managed to deliver a horrific child performance where you just want to kick the kid in the face. The Babadook. Anybody who's seen The Babadook, do not try and tell me but that kid is not one of the most annoying fucking children in the history of cinema. Well, he's got a fucking sister, because she's in this and fucking irritating. Doesn't quite cover it. This film for me was an absolute abject failure in every fucking sense. I didn't give a shit about anybody in it. I thought the performances, the characters were selfish and fucking hateful. And, you know, you're supposed to feel sorry for children, not want them to die. I just couldn't give a fuck about anybody in it. And it did actually start to make me angry. I didn't quite get to the end, put it that way. Honestly, that's how I felt about it. Some of you might have watched it and might have enjoyed it, but what have I always said? All you're getting is my opinion. You're not going to get, recommendations or anything like that. I'm just going to give you my opinion, and it's up to you to make your choice. And if you see Run Rabbit Run and you enjoy it, you're a better person than I, because I fucking hated it. Next up, it couldn't be more different. Nimona, new on Netflix. When a knight in a futuristic medieval world is framed for a crime he didn't commit, the only one who can help him prove his innocence is Nimona, a mischievous teen who happens to be a shape-shifting creature he's sworn to destroy. The lead voiceover work is the brilliant Chloe Grace Moretz. Everything she does seems to be fucking awesome. She voices Nimona, who is brilliant. The knight is Riz Ahmed, and I absolutely loved this. I really did. I howled with laughter. It was emotional. It's a whole family watch. Hour and 41 minutes on Netflix. It's PG. There's some, but there is some so the visuals are amazing. Brilliant visual gags. Brilliant dialogue gags. And it is a feast for the eyes. There's a shape-shifting creature in a future tower, in a future city that has like knights and stuff. I mean, I can't really do an adequate description of this film for you, but I tell you what, I really, really enjoyed it. I really did, and it doesn't hang about. Within 10 minutes, you're in. So, or at least I was. If you fancy it, Nimona on Netflix, yeah. Really, really enjoyed it. Funny, touching, brilliantly made, feast for the eyes, all the rest of it. Next up, Georgetown. I don't know why there isn't more known about this movie. It's directed by Christoph Waltz, and it stars Christoph Waltz and Vanessa Redgrave and Annette Bening. How can this movie not be something I already know about? It's called Georgetown. Ulrich Mott, an ambitious social climber, marries a wealthy widow in Washington, D.C. in order to mix with powerful political players. I will add to that. Is he who he says he is? Has he done what he says he's done? If he has, and if he is, wow. If he hasn't and isn't, that's an even bigger wow. Based, and this is not mentioned in this at all, based on a true story. And throughout the movie, at the beginning and at the end, there is a message about the truthfulness of this. It would appear to be pretty much all true, but some of it is just simply unprovable and unbelievable. It really is. Waltz is excellent. Vanessa Redgrave is fantastic. And Annette Bening is Vanessa Redgrave's frustrated, annoyed daughter who just doesn't like Ulrich, brackets Christoph. Yeah. Honestly, really enjoyed it. Based on a true story, wonderful performances. It's described as biography crime drama. I'd put thriller in there as well because you're never quite sure what's going on. Is he the real deal? Does he love her? Is he going away and doing these things? Are they? Is he just after her money? Is she using him? It's all, yeah. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Next up, God is a Bullet. Director Nick Cassavetes. Writers Nick Cassavetes and Boston Turan. Now, Nick Cassavetes is known for his, I don't know, I was going to say grim depictions of life in general. I mean, you know, he's done all sorts in his career. There are movies that, you know, you will know of his. In fact, why don't I try and, you know, rattle some off? Face Off, The Astronaut's Wife, Alpha Dog, My Sister's Keeper. I mean, all sorts. Okay, Entourage TV series. Hangover Part 2 did that as well. Anyway, God is a Bullet. I enjoyed. I think some people won't. Well, you say that about any movie, can't you, dickhead Howard? Taking matters into his own hands, Detective Bob Hightower tries to infiltrate an evil cult to save his kidnapped daughter and avenge the murder of his wife. I mean, that's fucking dark, right? Now, it stars Maika Monroe, who she's fucking awesome in this. Nikolai Coster-Waldau is in it. Brilliant. I love him. You recognise him from Game of Thrones. Also, Leeds United fan. What's not to like about that? And yeah, it's exactly as he can't seem to get anywhere trying to get find his daughter while he's in the police. He's not considered an inspector, so he just fucking goes off with a girl who's managed to get away from the cult. She seems to have a bit of a death wish about her and be incredibly damaged from her time with the cult. There's also a really, really cool and bizarre I was going to say cameo. It's not a cameo role at all. It's an actual role. It's just not a very big one. And it's Jamie Foxx. And it's kind of weird because you think, I didn't even remember seeing him on the cast list. But yeah, Jamie Foxx. He's right there. And, he's fucking great. I really enjoyed it. It's grim. It's dark. His wife's already dead. He's had his daughter snatched. I mean, this is not a happy dude. And it at times it feels seedy. You feel dirty watching it. It's gritty. But for that reason, I really liked it because I like films. I like anything that doesn't hold back. Be true to what you are. And it's up to me to hang on in there if I can. God is a Bullet. I kind of like that. Love the title as well. Very good. Next up, The Programme. An Irish sports journalist becomes convinced that Lance Armstrong's performances during the Tour de France victories are fueled by banned substances. With this conviction, he starts hunting for evidence that will expose Armstrong. Directed by Stephen Frears, stars Ben Foster, Chris O'Dowd, and Guillaume Canet. My feeling over this was, how can I put it? I was watching it, and I mean, it's a fascinating story, Lance Armstrong, and just what he managed to achieve, pull over, and also, by the way, drug cheat or not, and it might have all been done under false pretenses, he raised billions for cancer research. But anyway, Ben Foster is Lance Armstrong. Chris O'Dowd is Dave Walsh, the journalist. Jesse Plemons is in it. He's excellent. But his career hadn't really taken off at this time, because this movie is actually from 2015. And it's written by... it's written by John Hodge and David Walsh. And David Walsh is the journalist who, this happened to. So, Stephen Frears, great director, some great actors in there. The whole time I was watching it, I just kind of felt a little bit like, yeah, this would have been an awesome documentary. I don't know. It's the pretty much probably couldn't have revealed in a documentary the stark reality of what these people were doing. I mean, we're talking they had a bus that was like a blood lab. It's fucking ridiculous. Whole team in a bus, all just basically constantly getting shit. It beggars belief. But for me, there was just something about it. And it looks great. It looks great. It's brilliantly filmed. And everyone's great in it. But it just didn't seem to ring true to me, to hold me. It felt like it was struggling with like it had a bit of an identity crisis. It didn't know whether it wanted to be just a hard-hitting drama and play fast and loose with the facts, or whether it wanted to be a documentary, or what it was. And I don't know. It's not. There's no consistency regarding the point of view either. So you do see several different angles, and after a while you're like, oh, I don't know. I kind of felt like pick a lane, pick an angle, pick a route. I watched the whole thing. It was all right. Never going to watch it again. There you go. Finally, Triangle of Sadness. Ruben Östlund directs and wrote this, and it's fucking mental. Woody Harrelson is absolutely brilliant in it as a pissed up sea captain. This film is 2.5 hours long. And it starts with a really, really brave way to start it. About the first 5, maybe even 10 minutes is just this young, good-looking, well-to-do couple. They're both models, and they go for a meal. And he picks the tab up, and you can see that he's a bit annoyed about it. And I wonder what's behind that. And the first 10 minutes of the whole film is just really, really well observed about what can happen in a relationship when you let things go that are just a little bit annoying, and what can happen and how they can blow up to being massive problems from being a little bit annoying if you don't address them. It's really, really well done. It's kind of strange because it's completely, it doesn't introduce the movie at all, but it does introduce them. And they end up going on a cruise with some of the most horrendous people you're ever likely to be in the company of. These are fucking horrendous, super rich bastards on a fucking super rich yacht. They have armed guards on there. It is serious. And honestly, the tagline for this movie: a fashion model celebrity couple join an eventful cruise for the super rich. And fuck me, is it eventful. 2.5 hours that I really enjoyed. Fucking loved. There's just, it's honestly, the trailer's playing in front of me and I'm thinking, I'm going to fucking watch it again. I really am, because I enjoyed it so much. And I did. So there you go. That's it. That's all the movies. Triangle of Sadness, really enjoyed it. Not recommending it, just telling you that I enjoyed it. So, what's coming up next? I'll tell you what's coming up next. A shitload of TV series. And we're back for TV shows. Yeah. Now, this was, there's some excitement in here. Excitement, surprises. That's the word I'm looking for. Surprises. Let's start out with Inside Man on the BBC. David Tennant, Stanley Tucci, Dolly Wells. 6 episodes. David Tennant stars right out the gate. I'm thinking this has got huge potential. A prisoner on death row in the US and a woman trapped in a cellar under an English vicarage cross paths in the most unexpected way. Alternatively, as opposed to unexpected, you could say convoluted bollocks way. I don't know. Just 3 episodes, really enjoying it. And then it just becomes convoluted and just lost its way for me. And I barely made it to the end because I just stopped caring. Which is a bit disappointing, really. So, especially when it's 4 hours long, it's a mini-series. If you want to give it a go, there are episodes that really are superb. Absolutely superb, that I really enjoyed. But when it comes down to it, I felt that it lost its way, and I just, certainly wouldn't be watching season 2, put it that way. Now, talk about not watching season 2. Fubar, a CIA operative on the edge of retirement. Let me do this in the right voice. A CIA operative on the edge of retirement discovers a family secret and is called back into the field for one last job. If that sounds like a load of cliched bullshit, you are in for a treat, because this sack of cliched bullshit starring Arnold Schwarzenegger on Netflix is fucking rubbish. Fubar, fucked up beyond all recognition, in case you didn't know what Fubar stands for. And I'm going to tell you what the big reveal is, because it happens in the first episode. It turns out that Arnold's daughter is also a CIA agent, and he never knew. And it is the most pathetic, unbelievable father-daughter relationship in history. And those two cunts will not stop fucking bickering about, well, you've been keeping a secret from me all these years. And he's saying, but you have kept on secrets from me for years as well. Yes, that's the worst fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger impression you're ever going to hear. And that's all they do for the fucking whole fucking episode, is just fucking moan at each other. Virtually the same argument you hear 3 or 4 or maybe 5,000 times in the first 3 episodes. I fucking gave up. It is shit. Absolute shit. Unbelievable shit. Clearly, yes, wonderful. It's brilliant. Okay, so his daughter couldn't be his son. No, that's not how we work these days. No, it has to be his daughter. Completely unrealistic. Just fucking. Do you know what? I'm being harsh. The whole thing's fucking shit. It would have been shit if it was an 80s action movie, 80s comedy action movie. Oh, Arnie on, it's Arnie in pursuit of terrorists with his daughter, who he didn't know was a spy, in tow, and they're going to work together and bring down. Fuck off. Just fuck off. Nick Santora, you cunt. You created this heap of fucking shit. What an absolute fucking waste of everybody's time. This has been done 1,000,000 times better by 1,000,000 other people. And it's literally, they've dropped Arnie into it to try and give it some cred. And all of the scenes at the beginning, it's just dripping in cheese. I like cheesy, but not when it's mouldy cheese. This is just I like blue cheese, actually, which is mould technically, but fuck off, right? This is just It tries to be so many things and fails at them all. Fuck off, Fubar. Fuck off. Right. Florida Man. Netflix. When an ex-cop returns to his home state of Florida to find a mobster's runaway girlfriend, what should have been a quick gig turns into a wild odyssey. It does, and it took me a while to get there. It stars Edgar Ramirez and Abby Lee, and they are very watchable as a couple, but I did find it a bit of a struggle to get to the end of. It's all right. It gets good reviews everywhere. It's only 7 episodes. Maybe give it a go. It didn't particularly light my fire, but I'd probably start watching season 2 when it comes out. Now, next up, Zoo, the TV series Zoo. That's right. A lot of you have already seen it. It ran from 2015 to 2017. Well, I'm watching season 1 at the moment and I'm really enjoying it. And sure, it's a little bit dated because it was from 2015 and 2017, but guess what? Yeah, it's from a classic book. A team comes together and searches to find out what's causing a rash of violent animal attacks. And I've really, really enjoyed it so far. It's really well acted, and because of when it was, I keep seeing people and thinking, "Oh my God, they're in this." Oh yeah, this is years ago. This is before their career took off. But it's really well done, really well acted, and I'm really enjoying it. Still watching it at the moment. That is Zoo. Next up, something that I'm trying to enjoy, but it's getting a little bit difficult. Comedy series on Netflix. Unstable, starring Rob Lowe, and he's fucking great. I mean, Rob Lowe is just fucking effortlessly fucking cool. The series is created by John Owen Lowe. Yeah, so I think it's it's dad and son operating together, right? Cool. In a biological research company, a son with social problems is forced to work for the company of his father, an extremely eccentric and exotic man, to save him from disaster. Now, let me be clear. Some of this is really, really funny. I'm not at the end of the season yet, and I'm going to try. It was getting annoying recently. There's been a death, and people are struggling to deal with it, and it's just going on and on and on about dealing with grief. And the latest, and it was basically his son telling dad that when I start thinking of mum, if I'm in public and I know I'm going to get upset, I pinch my butt cheek, and the pain there, that takes my mind off it. And I was just like, oh, just fuck off, will you? Yeah, just fuck off. Yeah, that's the kind of thing people say on television. Is you just fuck off. Just annoyed me. All in all, though, I'm going to get back to it. And Rob Lowe's Rob Lowe, man. He's just fucking great. He's fucking great. And to be fair, there's been some really good laughs in it as well. So maybe it was me. I was getting a bit irritated with it, so I just took a break from it. Okay? That's all. I didn't take a break from this next TV series. I watched both seasons back to back, and I can't wait for season 3. It's on Netflix, and I have one question, and one question only for you, the listener, and that is it cake? Is it? Is it, though? I mean, doesn't look like... It looks like a sports bag. Surely that's not a cake. Fuck me, it's a cake. Yep, that's right. We've got a little bit of kind of reality TV, kind of the stuff I don't normally watch yet. And you know what? I fucking loved this. Loved it. Basically, you have got 2 seasons of a show where amazing bakers come on and try and fool judges by basically making cakes that look like shit. I mean, we're talking everything from a Dr. Martin boot, sports bags, all sorts of objects, and people make cakes out of them. And then you see 5 cakes, and it's like one of them's a cake, the other 4 are the real thing. It's honestly, It's addictive like cake. Mikey Day is the host, and he does a fucking brilliant job. He's one of the SNL comedians. He does a brilliant job of adding a bit of humour, keeping it light, fucking about, and not taking it too seriously. Like everyone knows, like he's like, it doesn't get, oh, my journey. It doesn't take itself too seriously. And the contestants are great. And there's no fucking studio audience. And I can't wait for season 3. I really can't. Fucking brilliant. One of the best things I've watched in ages. And yeah, amazing. And the judges every week are different. And they're really cool as well. It's great. So I realised at that point that I might be up for watching people compete. So then I watched the season Outlast on Netflix. In the extreme Alaskan wild, 16 survivalists compete for a chance to win a massive cash prize, but these lone wolves must be part of a team to win. And that's about it, really. They go to Alaska, they hang out, some of them are arseholes, some of them aren't, some of them don't last very long, some of them do, some of them think it's all right to ransack other people's gear, others don't, some take them all high ground, some don't. Eventually there's one team left. The end. It was all right. I watched all of it, and it's quite interesting to see purely what happens to people when they get fucking hungry and cold. And finally, keeping up this weird angle, Tex-Mex Motors. Yeah, I watched that on Netflix too, the whole fucking series. Hey, what a dickhead I am. I really enjoyed it. Tex-Mex Motors is junkers turn into jewels, where in the hands of these pros who bring cars from Mexico to El Paso for radical restorations in this lively series. And it is, because they're basically going across to Mexico all the time and picking up old beaten up cars, bringing them back to do them up. And just going over to Mexico does... Yeah, they have a few adventures over there. It's not just... pimp my ride. There's another twist to it. And to be fair, there's some characters in it. There's some real characters in it who I thought were amusing and worth watching. So there you go, Tex-Mex Motors. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought that you would get all of that shit from me on this, right? But you did. So there it is. That was Movie Bollocks, closely followed by TV Bollocks. And if you want more of this, there's Paul and I doing a year in Bollocks, but you have to sign up at patreon.com/Howard H. Smith if you want some of that. Thank you very much for listening. Always a pleasure, never a chore. See you around, people. Enjoy your viewing. Let me know what you thought.